I'll be training like a K-pop star in 2025. Hear me out. Before you leave the video and be like, this dude's corny, what is he talking about? Let me just explain myself. So, I was watching this new show on Netflix called Pop Star Academy, which is pretty much they had 20 aspiring pop stars undergo a K-pop training program in the docu-series, and at the end of the whole series they took 20 of the pop stars and they cut it down to 6, and that formed this final group right here. I wonder why they just spoiled it like that on the on the picture. But yeah, I'll be training like a pop star or a K-pop star in 2025. And let me just dive into what I even mean by that before everyone's like, what's this guy talking about? So, if no one knew, this is stuff that I kind of learned when I watched the Netflix show. But, and some of my friends have told me this before, actually. But K-pop stars, they go through a rigorous T&D or training and development process before they could even become a K-pop star. It's not like in the US where you kind of just make music and then blow up. Where yeah, this is like way more rigorous, and it's like a training process, and they kind of cast different K-pop artists, and then they try to form these groups, and then they train them for like 2 to 4 years before they even debut the K-pop group. So it's a pretty interesting process, and it's like a sports training camp where they during this T&D process they're trying to improve the skills of all of the different artists there, and they're training them for like 12 hours a day, and they're evaluating all the different artists on these different dimensions. Well, at least they were in the Netflix show, which is like dancing ability, singing ability, visual performance, star quality, and attitude. And I found it pretty interesting in the show how they had classes for each of these dimensions. Well, I guess, and I'll just talk through that. For like dancing ability, they literally had dance classes every single day where they would work on different types of dances, like regular hip hop, contemporary, and yeah, all jazz, whatever. I don't know the different dancing styles, but they were literally teaching them all the different styles of dances or of dancing, and their goal was to turn them into almost pro level dancers by the end of it. So yeah, they're taking a lot of different dance classes, even like dancing in groups. They're just training, drilling dancing every single day, and it was crazy to see the rigor and how they actually improved these girls' dancing ability so much by the end of the documentary. So not only did they have to work on dancing, they also had to improve the singing ability for each of the pop stars. So I mean, some of them came in being able to sing, but they couldn't dance, and some could be able to dance, but they couldn't sing, right? So like even singing, they showed like all the different vocal lessons that they would go through in order to become better at singing, like hitting different notes, trying out all these different songs, choosing harder and harder songs so that they can improve their singing ability. I literally didn't know that was even possible. I just thought people were naturally good at singing, but turns out you can get really good at singing through vocal lessons. So yeah, they went through like dancing ability, singing ability. Visual performance is more like, yeah, like when you're dancing on a screen, like how do you look when you're performing. So I think that's also a bit of these two. But I think another interesting thing was like facial expressions and stuff. Like they were really drilling into these girls, like the different facial expressions that they need to have, and that like really helps with like that helps complement dancing and singing ability. So that was pretty interesting, as like they'll be dancing and the trainers would like get mad and stop and be like, your facial expression needs to improve here. Don't look so mad here. Soften up the face. Smile at this point. It was pretty interesting. Like all the rigor that they had to go through And this is at the end of the day, like they K-pop stars do this for like 2 to 4 years until they're able to even become a group. Star quality is a bit more intangible. That's just like, I don't know, like, are people drawn to you? What's your aura, kind of thing, which is also interesting, and it definitely plays a big part. Like, if you could be the best dancer, singer, and hit all the visual performance, but I mean, some people just have aura, and that, like, a lot of times even overtakes a lot of these. So star quality is really important, and they mentioned that as well too. And then lastly, another really important thing is just having a good attitude. So when you're when you're rehearsing, when you're learning to sing, when you're learning to dance, when coaches are giving you feedback, pretty much having a good attitude and showing up every single day and improving. It's a long journey. This 2 to 4 years is hard, and nobody wants to work with someone who doesn't show up and isn't trainable, isn't coachable. So they also were assessing them on attitude. So yeah, pretty much after watching that Cat's Eye documentary, I realized I need to take my training as an engineer more seriously and introduce introduce some rigor in order to take myself to the next level. I feel like a lot of people, when they get into the industry, they kind of just like, the training is done. I mean, you already went through. Oh, sorry. You already went through school and everything, so you already feel like you've already did the training. Now it's time to do some application, and I think that makes sense. Probably what I did was, for the first one to even, yeah, I would say for the first 2 years, I was just focused on executing and pumping out as much code as I possibly could. Right? I did not care about developing my skills at all. I was like, I already developed my skills during school. I need to go and just actually start performing, put myself out there, and actually just, yeah, ship a bunch of code and push a bunch of features. So I feel like for the first 1 to 2 years, I was just focused on executing, and that was good. But at some point, you could only execute so much, and you hit a ceiling based on like how much you can execute, based on based on your skill set. And then you really, to like hit the next step of execution, like if you want to execute 10x more than you used to execute before, you really need to start to figure out what are some of the skills that I'm lacking that will help me like operate 10x better or execute 10x better than before. So I think in certain times of your life, there's times for training and development, and then there's time for just straight execution, and then you have to do some more training and development. You have to go straight into execution. So I think right now, I think in 2025, I need to get back into that training and development phase, and I need to be more deliberate in my training. So my goal at some point, maybe in 1 to 2 or 3 years, I want to start my own company. So these are the 5 skills that I'm like focused on, because I feel like working on these 5 skills in parallel will help me get closer to my goal, which is starting my own company. So when you start your own company, you have to do everything yourself. So you need to be pretty well rounded, and I'm not really focused on getting as deep as possible on front end or as deep as possible on back end, right? I'm kind of looking to just gain skills, just make sure that I have a good grasp on all of these. And I work as a full stack developer right now, so I do get introduced to front end, I do get introduced to back end, I do get introduced to infra. I work at a small startup, so you do get a bit of leadership, honestly. And I led certain like ERGs and stuff in my companies. And attitude, you can get that wherever. I think with me, my attitude for engineering is always good. Like, I always have a good attitude. I'm always willing to take on hard things, and I'm always showing up to work. So I think I just need to keep that up. But yeah, these are kind of the 5 skills that I'm going to work on: front end skills, back end skills, infrastructure skills, leadership skills, attitude skills. Yeah. And I think how I'm going to be working at that is pretty much I'm gonna be using this roadmap.sh to figure out what I do, what I know, and what I don't know. So they have the different roadmaps. There's one for front end developer, so I could look through a lot of these and see what I do know about front end and try to fill some of the gaps I know. And I like how this is open source and gets updated a lot, because as it gets updated a lot, I get to see new things, and I just need to make sure. I just need to do a couple projects on this in 2025, so I make sure I at least maintain my front end skills and at least take more stride in it. Um, I'll probably do a deeper video on like how I'm gonna gain skill, like how I'm gonna improve all like these skills, like a more thorough video on that. But yeah, I'm thinking of using the roadmap to figure out what I don't know. Because if you don't know what you don't know, then you just assume you know everything. But if you look at this and you see a lot of things that you don't know, you know that you don't know everything, and you could start to focus your mind on things you don't know and start to learn those. That's kind of how I approach things. So front end skills, back end skills. There's a back end developer roadmap. This is one of my favorite websites actually. So there's front end, there's back end. I mean, there's full stack, but yeah, it tells you everything you need to know about back end. And when you click on them right here, you can sort of read them. And maybe I'll be shooting videos on pretty much me studying this. Let me know if that's useful for y'all. And then what else? Yeah, I'll be using that roadmap to pretty much capture all these things, front end, back end. How am I going to grow my infrastructure? I'm going to do the same thing, but then also at work. Also, like I work 8 hours a day, so I also will need to like talk with my manager and make sure that tell them these are kind of things I want to grow it in, and then align the projects that I'm working in so that I improve these skills at work as well. That will just help set me up for the future. And then yeah, I think at my work we're a small company, so I can get the actual, like if I ask for this work, I could actually get it. Leadership skills, I think with that, just yeah, I can get that through work. And also I feel like doing this YouTube channel is helping me with public speaking and things like that, and then conveying my ideas. So I think if I just keep this up, grow my YouTube channel, go to more events, step up more during work and side projects and stuff, I'll definitely improve my leadership skills. So yeah, I'll dig into that a bit. I'll have a better video of like how I'm going to deliberately train all my skills in 2025. I don't know that yet. I was just more making this video because I'm like, I just need to actually be more deliberate about my training in 2025. And attitude, I feel like my attitude has always been great. I think that's what's been my differentiating factor when it came to working in this industry. Having a good attitude and showing up to work every single day and working hard. I think that's what helped me move up. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be putting myself through a TND process like a K-pop star. Yeah, shout out to Sophia, who's also from the Philippines, and apparently she's like the leader of the group. But yeah, that was a pretty sick documentary. I would watch that if I was you. And yeah, see y'all in the next video.